All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be taking a look at least common denominator, or the LCD. Some other workbook places or other teachers, they may say lower or lowest common denominator. They all mean the same thing. So exactly what is least common denominator? Well, it is... I'll bring this up. The LCA. Oh, see, I'm used to doing least common multiples. I'm glad I caught that. The least common denominator, the LCD, is the least or lowest common multiple of the denominators of two or more fractions. And in just a little bit, you'll see what I mean by that. So if I'm going to show you two examples on how we can kind of find these. So if we're looking at just simple denominators, let's say we're in sixth and we're in ninth. So we're trying to figure out using either a number line or just finding using our multiples and products and trying to find out. So if I am in sixth, what I want to do is I can count by six. So starting at 0, I'll be in red. I have 6, 12, and then so that's 6 times 2, 6 times 3, that gets me 18, which gets me right there. That's 18. 6 times 4, that gets me 24. 6 times 5, or 6 times 5, that gets me 30. So I have right here 6 times 1, that gets me 6. 6 times 2, that gets me 12, times 3, times 4. So we can see how many times I skip count to get to where I need to go. Then if I'm in ninths, now I just skip count by 9. 9 times 1, that gets me 9. 9 times 2, that gets me 18. And then 9 times 3, that gets me 27. One more. All right. So now what we're trying to look for is the number that they have in common, and it's the least. So we can kind of look, if I'm looking at this 6 point where it ends on the number line, it doesn't match here, so it can't be 6. And then if I go to 6 and 12, it doesn't match up here. There's no dot there, so we know it's not 12. And if I go to 18 here, I see that 18 is down below. So we know that 18 is our least common multiple. So we could say between 9 and, or 6 and 9. So LCM of, dang, I keep saying LCM. I keep meaning to say least common denominator of 6 and 9 is not 8, 18, right? So that is how we can find it this way. Or we can go over here and we just go through kind of our times tables. 6 times 1 gets me 6, and I can start from here. 6 times 2 gets me 12. 6 times 3 gets me 18. 6 times 4, 24. 6 times 5 gets me 30. If I want to keep going, I can. Odds are, depending on what two you are comparing, you could probably solve it within the first maybe 4 to 5 terms. But we'll keep going. So 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 gets us 18. And as soon as we see a pair, boom, we're done. So we know that the LCD between 6 and 9 is 18. So in context, when we are solving for a fraction expression, now we need to take those same skills and apply it here. So what I kind of tell my students is whichever of these two methods you like between the number lines or kind of like these little T charts, whatever works. So what I want to do is a couple things. If you go back to the other video, strategy that we talked about was sometimes we may be able to just multiply these two together and that solves us. Sometimes that could get us a really, a more of a larger denominator. And remember, the larger the number just means there are many more slices, but those slices are smaller and smaller and smaller. So technically, like 1/2, if 1/2, it is kind of greater than 3/6, because if I just cut this in 1/2, I have all of that, pizza there. But if I cut this into 6, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, that's 8. I have to cut this into thirds. So I cut this into thirds. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. So then if I cut these in half, now I'm in sixes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I do that, the slices got smaller, but I had more slices. So anyways, sometimes we may be able to multiply these two together, but we're going to practice doing one of these. So if I have 7 up top and 3 down below, I have to go and find which one is the least that they have in common. So 7 times 2, that gets me 14. 7 times 3, that gets me 21. 7 times 4, that gets me 28. 7 times 5, 35. I'm going to stop there. And then 3 times 2 gets me 6. 3 times 3 gets me 9. 3 times 4 gets me 12. 3 times 5 gets me 15. 3 times 6 gets me 18. And 3 times 7 gets me 21. So here I see that I have a 21 up here, and I have a 21 down here. So I know that my least common denominator between 7 and 3 is 21. So now what I have to do is convert these into, let me move this down a little bit. So what we need to do is convert these into over 21. So 3/7 is equal to 21. And we know that 7 times 3 gets us 21. And what we multiply to our denominator, we have to multiply to our numerator and create our secret 1. So 3 times 3 gets me 9. So I'm going to rewrite this as 9 over 21 minus, because remember, this fraction right here is equivalent to 3/7. Then I'm going to go 2/3, and I'm converting this to 21. So 3 times 7 gets me 21. And what I do to my denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So I have my secret 1, and 2 times 7 gets me 14. So now I have 14 over 21. And in this case, let's just say for the exercise, we are going to actually flip these guys because we would end up with a negative fraction. So I'm just going to erase minus 9/21, and when we subtract, 21 stays the same, and 14 minus 9 gets us 5. So we would end up with 5/21, or 5 over 21. So yeah, that's basically the skill that you would use to solve for your least common denominator. So in order to do this, sometimes we save ourselves time by figuring out which one is least, because sometimes you may end up with potentially a denominator of 56 when in reality you could have it much less. So you have to do less simplifying down the road. So that is our video on least common denominator. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.